Check this out. Hip Hop 50. It's all happening. On August 11th, 1973, a woman named Cindy Campbell threw an end-of-summer jam in the Bronx. The address, 1520 Sedgwick Ave. The event was held in the building's community room located on the first floor. And on the turntables that day, the legendary Clive Campbell, also known as Kool Herc. I mean, it's doubtful those in attendance knew they were partying at the epicenter of the birthplace of a culture that's captured the globe, hip hop, but that's exactly where they were. And here we are now, 50 years later, and hip hop is as ubiquitous as oxygen. I mean, think about this. Even people who hate it still know it. Even those who loathe it can and often do still quote it. It is the art form of a generation, and so in 2023, 50 years since its inception, expect a number of activations and celebrations all year long. Here's a couple worth checking out that are currently underway. Showtime is already in the midst of a 3-year project that will bring together numerous films, documentaries, television series, podcasts, and digital projects exploring the history, the people, and the music of hip-hop. The project is produced by Nas's Mass Appeal, and so far they've already released documentaries on Uncle Ralph McDaniels and his pioneering TV show, Video Music Box, as well as Wu-Tang Clan of Mics and Men, Supervillain, The Making of Tekashi 6ix9ine, Cypress Hill, Hits from the Bong, and Supreme Team. There's also an animated short on DJ Kool Herc's parties on the horizon, as well as other podcasts and digital series. This 3-year run is all leading up to the opening of the Hip Hop Museum in the Bronx. All this sounds dope, 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 dope. Also in conjunction with Mass Appeal, DJ Premier, Swiss Beats, Hit Boy, and others have been tapped to release a 10-part EP series celebrating Hip Hop Semi-Centennial. The first edition, Hip Hop 50 Volume 1, was released in July 2022. It's entirely produced by Primo and features Joey Badass, Remy Ma, Rhapsody, Slick Rick, Nas, Lil Wayne, and Run the Jewels. If you haven't heard Hip Hop 50 Volume 1, punch yourself in the face. BET has kicked off its Hip Hop 50 festivities as well. The publication has a page dedicated to the milestone and has been running lists in celebration of the culture's best over the past 5 decades. Check them all out, but definitely peruse through the top 50 greatest battle rappers of all time, top 35 women who set the bar, the most definitive videos of 1997, and the greatest samples of all time because I wrote them. Links in description. The Recording Academy also announced that Slick Rick the Ruler, will be honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award. Slick Rick's The Great Adventures of Slick Rick is 100% necessary hip-hop listening. Now, I'm not 100% sure that honoration is officially tied to Hip Hop 50, but it feels better in my brain to think so I will allow myself that. Vibe and Billboard teamed up to compile the top 50 rappers of all time as part of their Hip Hop 50 celebration. They plan to release the list in pieces and drop the first 10 this week. At 50, Rick Ross. 49, Rev Run of Run DMC. 48, Melly Mel of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 fame, the maker of The Message. 47, MC Lyte. 46, Jadakiss. 45, Ice-T. 44, Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah seems kind of low to me, actually. This one actually seems kind of low to me. She's arguably the greatest woman MC ever. Top 5 at worst. We'll see how the rest of this list plays out. But Queen Latifah, number 44. 43, Bun B. 42, Redman, Funk Dr. Spot. And 41, E40. Again, Billboard and Vibe, they're gonna roll out the rest of that list piecemeal, so look out for that. Also, look out for what Google has in store, this massive activation Google has in store as part of their celebration for Hip Hop 50. It's gonna be big, it's all happening. But for years, I've always thought back to what Cindy Campbell's end of summer jam must have felt like in that moment for those in attendance, when Kool Herc was on the tables. And I often wonder what they think about how massive hip hop has become since that fateful day in 1973. I mean, people thought hip hop was gonna fall off like disco in those early days. Where it is now has to be supremely surprising, right? That thought actually became the foundation to a question I've asked just about everyone I've ever interviewed in my career. For over a decade now, regardless of who I'm talking to, I always ask people, after everything they've experienced, what still surprises them about hip-hop. So on this channel, in celebration of Hip Hop 50, I've decided to periodically share some of those answers that I've received over the years. The first one comes courtesy of Rome Streetz. Rome and I spoke just after the release of Death and the Magician, his project with Muggs. I asked Rome what surprises him about hip-hop, and he brought up Lil Nas X. Here's a clip.
Yo, I seen a fucking that Lil Nas X shit on Twitter. I'm like, yo, is this serious right now? Like this dude is getting fucked by the devil right now. Like, I'm like, what is going? That's crazy right now. Like I said, there's a lane for everything. You understand what I'm saying?
I love Rome for that one. Look, but he makes an interesting point. Hip-hop's been vilified for years for violence, for example, for misogyny, for example, gangster rap, for example, as Rome mentioned, Eminem, for example. They have all been heavily criticized. Shock value has become an indelible part of the culture, and here we are 50 years later, and we have a brand new generation finding brand new ways to piss off old people. Lil Nas X and his devilish lap dance is a great example of quintessential shock value coming from an increasingly diversifying population. Hip-hop's more diverse than it's ever been. In 2011, I talked to Knoc-Turn'Al around his then new release, Knoxville. Knoc-Turn'Al is probably best known for Bad Intentions with Dr. Dre. That track dropped in 2001. Noc's always been wild talented. Here's what he told me surprised him then. What always surprises me about hip-hop is the songs that people listen to because you never expect that song to be a hit. But this is how it is in hip-hop. You never know what's going to be a hit until you put it out there. That's what always surprises me. Like, who would have thought chicken noodle soup with a soda on the side would have been at the top of the charts? If you're eating chicken noodle soup, you ain't eating it with soda, you're drinking water. If times are that bad, you ain't got no damn soda. You're drinking water. Might be tap water, not even bottled water. You never know. Or tap water with some ice, nigga, with your chicken noodle soup. It never ceases to amaze me how you never know what's going to end up being a hit. So for all those people that think they can't do it, and people tell you that your song ain't hot, just think about how that song was a hit. Webstar and Young B, ringtone era, dark times. Knoc-Turn'Al's right though, you never know what's going to be a hit. I highly doubt Doja Cat thought the Moo song was going to be her breakthrough. Bitch, I'm a cow. Snoop Dogg's answer to what surprises him about hip-hop always stands out to me. I asked him about this question during a junket for his album, I Wanna Thank Me. His answer is really thoughtful. Here's what he said.
Is that there's no education in hip-hop. That's very surprising to me, is that as strong as this music is, as this genre is, it's really not an educational piece to it, but they love stealing from us. They love saying, well, we're gonna have a Tupac, you know, certain shit going on in certain universities. When the fuck is y'all gonna teach hip hop at universities? When y'all gonna make this a form of education that can become a form of a job? Because it's a real money maker. It's a real thing out there that's being treated as an undertone, but it's the overtone, because this is the only form of music that connects all walks of life. This is the only form of music that can put a racist, can put a militant, can put a bigot, can put a gay, can put any of them forms of people in the same room for one cause, music. They love hip hop. Hip hop is the only music form that can connect every form of people in the walk of life. So to me, it should be taught like that, it should be treated like that, it should be upheld.
Snoop ain't lying. But what's interesting is that in the years since he said that the lack of hip-hop education in schools is surprising to him, it feels like real progress has been made, at least when it comes to higher education. Lupe Fiasco is teaching a class on MCing at MIT. Ninth Wonder, he's been teaching at Duke for years. Ad2, also from Jamla, also from Chicago, he announced that he's teaching at Columbia. His is a music history class called From Motown to Kendrick Lamar that focuses on advancements as well as the exploitation of our culture by the music industry. Virginia Union and Virginia State held a joint hip-hop symposium in 2022, which served as a launch of each university's hip-hop programs. Hip-hop in institutions of higher education is moving in the right direction since Snoop's sentiments. Chris Rock.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
The point is this: during a conversation with Reuters about his Hip Hop 50 endeavors, Nas was asked where he thinks hip hop will go in the next 50 years. Nas said this: "I hope that it's still thriving and staying innovative, and people are united through hip hop and awakened about the things that are wrong in our societies through the words of hip-hop." I hope so too, Nas. Over the past semi-centennial, hip-hop has proven to be a global unifying force that bridges divides worldwide. But nothing lasts forever. What's gonna happen to hip-hop in the next 50 years? Is it still gonna be on top? Is it gonna shrink? Will it be around at all? I don't have the answer to these questions.
Static Selector.
Another Saturday, another TBD. Thank you guys for rocking with me each week. We really appreciate it. This piece is really a setup for some of the other pieces I'll drop over the course of the year that are related to Hip Hop 50. There's separate pieces that I haven't talked about yet that you guys will see, and there will be different little sub pieces that talk about what surprises different artists about hip hop, like you saw in this episode. Let me know what you guys think about some of those reactions. I actually like Nocturnals quite a bit. There's a lot of surprising hits in the history of hip hop music. Same thing with Snoop. I mean, I think that is real progress when you look at least at a higher learning level, at institutions of higher education. You know, I feel like there is a lot of progress that's happened with hip hop education over the years. And I think that's a great thing. But what do you think? Let me know. And also, like, where does hip hop go in the next 50 years? I think about this a lot. I really do think about this a lot. On one hand, I feel like, this is a sample-based culture. Hip hop can pull from anything. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's like part of the reason why I think, hip hop could be around for like 100 years, 150 years. It could do it. Then on the flip side, I think about how much bigger rap is. Like, rap is way bigger than hip hop. I mean, there's a lot of people who rap who don't have any real connection to hip hop culture per se, the tenets of hip hop culture. They just rap it and they like these songs, they like this style. I don't know, I'm 50-50 on what hip hop looks like in the next 50 years, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section as well. And as always, big shout out to the analysts. Got to shout out to the analysts. Thank you for all the awesome analysis, support, watching the videos every week, and donating to the channel, donating to the Linktree, helping to forward this mission each week. You guys are priceless. As always, my name is Justin Hunte. Follow @TheCompanyMan on everything. Like and subscribe to the channel. It's all happening.